no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. And I want to start with that quote because that's been one, as an empowered female, that has always resonated with me, not only in my personal journey around this topic, but also one that I have brought to so many of my clients.
It's the meaning that you're assigning to things that ultimately determines your experience of it. So what does rejection mean to you? Because that meaning is going to determine what you do. Hey everybody, it's Bianca.
And this is Emilia.
Welcome to the 200th episode of Evolved Ventures.
We've never missed. Party time, excellence. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
I had to make sure that I say that. Honestly, before we dive into the episode, I just want to take a minute for Emilia and I to celebrate how extraordinary this is that we have gotten the opportunity. We've had the opportunity to sit here 200 separate times in order to help people, in order to make a difference in people's lives. And really, this isn't about us. This is about each and every single person listening to this right now, that we've shown up for all of you because of the love and the care and the passion that we have for every single person listening right here and right now. So none of this, and I genuinely mean this, we could not have done any of this without every single person listening and showing up and sending us suggestions and telling us about their pains and their joys and everything in between. So this is not just a win for Emilia and I. This is a win for our entire Evolve community. So first and foremost, thank you so much to every single one of you. So for today, episode number 200, we're going to be talking about rejection. And more specifically, what does rejection mean about you? When we think about rejection, we usually think about intimate relationships. And rejection can come in many, many forms, right? Being rejected from a job, so not getting a certain job that you wanted, not getting invited to something you thought you were going to get invited to. Just in many ways, shapes, and forms, missed opportunities. I had a client that I was talking to the other day, and he was telling me that he felt massive pain and like an absolute failure, and like his life was over because he didn't get into grad school. He got rejected into the graduate programs that he wanted to get into, or rejected from the graduate programs that he wanted to get into. And he told himself this story that he's a failure, that his life was over, that this was just the final confirmation that he needed to show himself the truth of him, that he is not enough, that he is a loser, that he's a failure, and that he's never going to amount to anything. And I was like, whoa. Okay, we need to do an episode on this, because I guarantee if he's experiencing this, millions of other people are too. So rejection in and of itself ultimately has no meaning, right? If we want to get real philosophical up in here, it doesn't really have a meaning. What it means is the story that we're telling ourselves about it. So to this person, to this client that I was working with, him not getting into the school that he wanted was them rejecting him. And him, as a result, or him not getting into this school was because of him not being good enough. And for so many of us, that's what rejection means to us, about us. It's this inherent flaw in who we are. It's this flaw in the person that we are or the person that we're becoming. And so what we really want to focus this episode in on for these next few minutes is, how do you start to transform what it means about you? What do you do when you experience rejection? How do you use that experience? Are you using that experience, or what are you doing in the aftermath of it? And transforming that. So that's what we're going to be really diving into today.
Definitely. I want to start with one of my favorite quotes by Eleanor Roosevelt, which goes like this: "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." And I want to start with that quote because that's been one, as an empowered female, that has always resonated with me, not only in my personal journey around this topic, but also one that I have brought to so many of my clients and to help them really resonate in a different way than they might have thought. And so it's really looking at our control around this concept, around what things mean to us, and how unless we give that away, we maintain the meaning. We're able to provide the maintenance to ourselves, what it means to us when there is a quote unquote rejection, or there isn't a criteria met per the expectations outlined.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of the clients that I've talked to like really resonate with the whole rejection is redirection sentiment. That's another thing that I hear a lot. And while I love that, when in like my spiritual self, there are parts of me that definitely break this down like a scientist and look at this so that we can really help our listeners from this lens. And, you know, even just when you were talking about that example of your client, really the ego is so attached to the whole concept of I got rejected from the school, rather than my application got rejected because it didn't meet the criteria, right? So even just shifting from that lens of I focused on me, which is when the ego is very present, shifting it over to my application, right? And that could be dissected down into a ton of different criteria of, okay, maybe my test scores weren't where they needed to be at. Does that mean that you can never reapply? Absolutely not. But again, if you have the meaning attached to the identity component that my application got rejected, and it starts to feed that narrative of I'm not enough, i.e. giving your consent to feel good enough away to others, that's when things can really start to spiral downwards. And what can happen is the identity of I'm a failure, I'll never be enough, and never trying again can be so far away from us. And I want to encourage our listeners to the word transform that you brought in, B, to help transform, shifting things away from our ego around really self-identifying with absolutely everything, and shifting that more into what on the external or what on the internal can be modified, can be evolved, can get better. Focus in on that. Because if we focus on getting better, when it comes to this concept around rejection, say, for example, it is a date, you know, it doesn't match. What is the meaning? What are the words? What is the self-talk that's happening after the date where you're like, I'm just not really interested? Are you starting to build the narrative of, yeah, this person really wasn't into me, I could tell by XYZ, right? What lens are you letting lead those interactions? And do you have a part of you that starts to come in and say, hey, whoa. Let's not feed this narrative. Let's try to see, how could we look at this differently? And that's the question that I encourage my clients. How could we look at this differently? And B, I know you and your clients have done this too, because that's where it sparks that curiosity. And it starts to shift things outside. Exactly. What else could this mean?
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Bree, and I'm head of Evolve Ventures Media and Energies. So I would say my experience at Evolve has been absolutely amazing. I have learned and grown and done so many things that I didn't imagine that I'd be doing just over a year ago. So I'm really happy to be a part of the team, and I encourage anyone who has the opportunity to join. So this is an experience that I don't think I would have gotten anywhere else. So it's definitely unique, and there's so many like-minded people, whether it's on the team or in our community, that can be by your side and support you. So that is an awesome experience.
we get to decide what things mean. We get to decide what it means about us, what it means about our future, what it means about anything. And Emilia and I, if you've heard this show, you've heard both of us kind of go back and forth on this. I don't think everything happens for a reason. I don't, because I've heard the most horrific stories that you can't tell me that happened for a reason. You can't. But we get to decide what it means to us. We get to decide the reason. We get to decide what it means about us, about our life, about our future, and what we do. And so when it comes to rejection, what does it mean about you? You get to decide. Does it mean that maybe that just wasn't the right person for me and maybe I'll find someone better? Maybe they have an idea of what they want and I'm not that. That doesn't mean that I'm bad. It just means that I'm not what they want. But that doesn't mean that I'm not enough. Or if you don't get into a school that you want, okay, your application got rejected. Now what? Now what are you going to do? Yeah. You're going to try to get better? Are you going to try to learn more? Maybe you submit it again. Maybe you apply to a different school that maybe ends up being a better school, or you meet the love of your life there, or whatever. Nothing has any meaning except the meaning that you give it. Tony Robbins said that, and I live by that quote. And that's like the foundation of CBT. It's the meaning that you're assigning to things that ultimately determines your experience of it. So what does rejection mean to you? Because that meaning is going to determine what you do.
Truth.
So if my client really keeps that belief in his mind that I was rejected, I am a failure, he's probably never going to try again. And I'm not going to let him do that. We're going to break through that. But if he on his own accord just decided, you know what, this is the truth and that's it, I'm done. He's going to have a much different outcome than he would if he said, okay, this hurts. I feel sad. That's okay. What can I do about it? What do I do now? And for everyone listening, I really want you to try to take that approach on. What else could this mean and what can I do? Because there's always a different meaning you can give to things, and there's always something that you can do about it. And if you don't know how to do that yet, Emilia and I have time booked in our calendar every single week. You can meet with us individually, or every Saturday you can meet with us together, and we can walk you through this. We can help you to start creating new narratives for you, new stories and meanings, and coming up with an action plan of now what are you going to do?
My favorite time, some of my favorite times in coaching has been when this meaning really transforms. And B, I know you have so much fulfillment underneath this as well, because to that point, it's not just like the next month changes in that individual's life. It is their entire life trajectory changes when the meaning shifts from a limiting meaning and like a disempowering meaning to an empowering and unlimited meaning. And there's so much power in that, and anyone can do that. That's what I think that's really exciting for. So
would you say that their meaning is evolving?
I would say. Would you? Or are they evolving their meaning?
Ooh.
I think we can all benefit by evolving what things mean to us, because we have a lot of, it's like it's like when way back when in cars where like you would get in and there's already CDs ready to play. It's like you get in the car and there's a ton of CDs ready to play, so you just pick the player. I feel like in our brains we have so many meanings, i.e. the CDs, that are already in our car, i.e. in our minds, for us as we navigate the world. And I think there's a music playing that sometimes we never swap out. We never swap out and put in a different disc, a different meaning. And we're going to have a totally different drive if we never swap out any meanings that we have that were downloaded into us. All right. Episode suggestion on my end is my friend. 165. Motivation Mondays are emotion real. And yes, I am. Oh, no, wait, just kidding. That was the wrong one. I take it back. 168 is your past determining your future. Oh yeah. Oh well, that I didn't talk about CDs in that episode, but now you guys will hopefully connect the dots.
Well, now you get 3 episode suggestions. Mine is 118. What does it mean to love yourself? All right, y'all. Happy day. Happy 200 episodes, my friend. I have loved nothing more than getting to share this time and this mic with you every single week. And I'm grateful for everything that we get to do together.
Same, B. Same. I was just looking at our stats and I'm just like, we gave it time. If we looked at the stats at the very beginning and let that determine, you know, like whether or not we show up to the mics, we would, you know, if we assigned a meaning that was like, oh yeah, no one's listening to us. Like no one's listening to us. We had like 35 listens in like the first week. It's like, well, you know, like that'll never change. If we listened to that meaning and assign that meaning, we wouldn't be where we are today, which I believe is over 20,000 listens.
We had our highest month ever last month, double the previous highest month.
Yeah, just
wild.
Insane. The amount of people that we're impacting, genuinely. So I'm grateful that you have been, and consistently, might add, we've never missed. And so the why power, we never will. The why power that you and I have, I've never seen any 2 females in this entire world have it. So I'm so grateful for you. It's been an honor.
Thank you, everybody. We hope this episode provided value, and we will see you next time.
Bye. Everyone.